Now, there's one thing that absolutely sucks when having a 4x4, and that is damaging your body panels. So today what we're gonna do is some underbody protection. We are doing a DIY set of rock sliders. Now, this is definitely something you guys can do at home. And you're probably thinking, Tom, I don't have a bloody pipe bender and I don't have a tube notcher. How the hell am I gonna make a set of sliders? Now, I'm gonna show you in this episode how to build your own DIY set of custom sliders without all that expensive equipment. Now, Diesel's keen to get into this one, guys, so without further ado, let's build a set of sliders. Let's go, bud. Hey mate, is this DIY Customs? Yeah mate, I'd just like to order a set of sliders for my patrol ute. All right mate, so they're on their way? Beautiful. Cheers mate, bye. Knock knock. Anyone home? Yeah mate, I'm home. How are you? Come in. Yeah, here you go mate. I've just got a delivery out the front for you mate. Just need a hand lifting it, that's all. Yeah, as you can see, I'm a bit of a dog. I know what that is. That's probably my set of sliders. I'll come out and grab it mate. Yeah, just in here mate. Just chuck her up here. Yeah, cheers mate. Have a good one, eh? Thanks for that. Catch you later. See yourself out. Come on. Out. See you, mate. There you go. Good boy. Now what these are is a completely custom set of sliders that you weld together yourself. So basically what you do is you call up with either the make and model of your car or a couple of measurements. From that, they send it all out. It's all pre-bent and tube notched, so all you have to do is set them up on your car, weld them together. Now the way I see it, you've got to buy your material anyway. Most people can't carry 8-meter lengths of steel, so you do need to get the steel delivered to your house or to a workshop. These guys basically supply all the steel, all the brackets, everything's pre-folded, pre-notched, and it's just the simplest way to build your own set of sliders. The reason why I went with it, off-the-shelf sliders, they don't sit right on the car, in my opinion. I like them really angled up, and I also like the kicker style. So I've ordered exactly what I like, and then we can just customize it from there. So let's unpack this condom of sliders, and we'll take a look at the two different styles. When you see this all laid out, you realize how much work has actually gone into notching all the ends so the tube actually fits in it, and also the bends. There's definitely a lot of cutting and bending that these guys have taken out of the job. Now, aside from all that, if you were to buy all that steel just by itself, it would still cost quite a fair bit. The other thing is, we all know how many cut-off wheels and flap discs you use doing this stuff. Now, I've ordered the kicker style, but he has sent me both styles just so I can show you what is actually available on their website. So what I'll do now is I'll lay out one of each style so you guys can see both options available. Righto, so these are the two different outer styles. So you have the kicker and you just have the traditional slider. So we have one bar coming across and back down, and on this one we have one bar coming across to a bigger bar. Now I'm going with this kicker style because if you can imagine sliding up against a bank, this is just going to push you off just that little bit more so you don't hit your tray. Or if you have a wagon, you can do the same and you won't hit your quarters as much. These middle bars is what you can change up to make this completely custom. We have these straight bars here if you want a straighter look. We have angle bars here so you could run all angles. You can run them zigzagged like that, and you could run them, you know, you could even have one of them in there if you wanted to. No matter what I do, someone will hate it, some people will love it. But what I'm gonna do personally right now is I'm gonna set it up the way that I like it. I'm gonna take a photo of each, and that way I can just quickly flick back and forth and see which one I sort of like the most. I honestly don't know which one I like more. I kind of like that one just because it's different, but I also reckon the traditional way looks pretty good as well. All right, I think I'm gonna lock in this style here. I think aesthetically, this is the most pleasing to be honest, even though I did like the V style. One thing that DIY Customs do, which is great, is they send you a bit of scrap metal just to set up your welder with on these, because you want this to be set right the first weld. You don't want to be adjusting it on the piece itself. One thing I did want to quickly mention is the welder. Obviously, it's the one tool you definitely need if you're going to purchase one of these kits. And honestly, if you're into full driving, the two tools that I recommend you 100% get is a grinder and a welder. The work that I've done on the bogan bus, on coal, and on the trailer would not be possible without a welder. This one here was $799 as a full kit, and then it's $99 for the bottle of gas, which honestly is bloody good. You can pick up secondhand units for around 200, 250 bucks. And to give you a little bit of insight onto welders, this one here is a 182, which is 182 amps. It'll weld up to about an 8mm plate with a little bit of heat in it. I wouldn't go out and buy anything bigger than probably a 185 if you're just doing stuff around the house like I am. So with that being said, let's get this welder out and start playing with the settings, set it up on a bit of scrap, and get to welding these sliders. Tacked all the main hoops. I've done them front and back just so if I move it around it's not going to snap off. So now we obviously have to put these runs in. Now we're doing 3 up the front, 2 at the back. So how I do it is we've got 3 runs which leaves 4 gaps. So what you do is you measure from the center of here to the center of here. We divide that by 4. We mark our lines for 4. And then that'll give us the perfect line on where to mount the center of these bars. This is honestly the easiest thing I've ever done to my full drive. Just measure it up, slap it together, and we're done. No metal dust, no grinding, just straight done. Now, it wouldn't be a Roam Life episode if I knew what I was doing, so I did change it up halfway through doing this. 3 runs in, and then we've got a V here. And the reason I did that is because I tried to evenly split this, but we can't have the bar because of this bend. I couldn't have the bar evenly split, so I would have had uneven gaps pretty much. So I think that V looks quite cool. I'm very happy with that because it just makes it a little bit different and a little bit more custom, which is what I bloody love. Let's get this welded up and we can move on to the next one. All right, as you can see, we have 2 sliders identical sitting behind me, ready to go. So what I need to do is bring Cole into the workshop and start setting them up on a set of jack stands. Then we can actually bolt everything into place, and once that's done, we can tack them up. So let's get that big dog in to this workshop so we can start mocking up these sliders. Let's go. What up, these? What up, these? All right, the big dog is in, so time to set up some jack stands just under there. One of the major benefits, in my opinion, to this kit is that you can actually set up the angle exactly how you want it. A lot of sliders, they just come out sort of like a side step. They try to get like a multi-function, a slider and a side step. My opinion, I just like sliders. I like the comp style ones on an angle. Keen to get the most aggressive angle possible and push it out as much as possible just so we can deflect off rocks and that sort of stuff. Now I've actually kind of jumped the gun a bit. I think I should put the brackets onto the chassis first. I'm going to disconnect the battery as well because we'll probably have to weld to those brackets. Now these are the brackets I'm talking about. These actually get sent as a kit. They go up onto your chassis and then a bolt goes through the top of it. They're very, very strong. Once that's up on the chassis, we then grab one of these tubes, which is already end notch for us. We cut it to length, that goes to there, and then our slider sits into that tube there, and we can adjust the angle and tack it all in. Right, as you can see, there's 1 and 2 brackets. Now, the third one is just going to be flat bar actually bolted to this, what do you call this, trailing arm mount. And that's actually a body mount. So basically make a piece of flat bar to bolt through there, and then we'll weld it to the sliders just for a third point of contact. Now all we've got to do is set up our sliders and then cut our runs out to the slider itself. And then we'll have a free floating slider, then we'll do the other side. What do you reckon, Harry?
It's looking good, mint, brother.
Looking bloody mint good, bruv. We now have a bloody slider sitting in place. You can see what I mean, how you're going to slide along a bank and then it's going to push you off, and it's actually quite perfectly lined up with the tray there. So I've tried to get the gap as little as possible without going too crazy, and then also the angle when you open the door, I don't want too much because if you hit a big rock, it would fold up and it would stop you from opening your door, so we don't want that to happen. I'm probably still too close, but I really want a fair bit of angle on these, so that is the final resting position. I think that looks unreal. So now we have to measure and then cut the lengths of those straight bits and actually just tack them in place, and we can take the whole thing off, fully weld it, gusset it, and then we're done. Looking bloody mint. I actually love it, do you? Looks awesome. Both those mounts done. We've still got one more to do, but I'm going to get rid of this jack for now. We've got our bars going across to those chassis rails. The third one, I'm going to bolt off that thing and run just a piece of flat bar over to it. And that's probably the easiest way that I can think of to make it happen. But she looks bloody good just sitting like that. Took a little while to make it, but you can see there we have our flat bar bracket and it's all ready to go. I've just got to drill 2 holes, 1, 2 right there, and we're good to go. So she's ready to be pulled off and actually finish welded. But what I'll do, I'll keep this side on as a reference for the other side so we can actually just make sure that they're identical, and then we'll pull them both off and finish weld them. So let's get on to the other side now. Obviously, I'm going to say this because I built them. We friggin' nailed it. I friggin' love the design. I love how they sit on the car. We managed to tuck them up really nicely. Some sliders do look a bit iffy on cars. They just kind of pop out like a side step. And in my opinion, they just don't look great. But these look tough as. They really do suit the look of the car. So we managed to get them pretty well exactly the same. You can see that side and that side, they're bloody identical. Honestly, even though it's a little bit more work to do it this way, it's a really good feeling knowing that they are exactly the way that I want them. I'd hate to pay something like 900 bucks for a set of sliders and just be unhappy how they sit on the car. Pumped that we went this route with DIY Customs and we're able to just nail it exactly how we want it and tuck it up to the car exactly how I wanted. So I've obviously still got to pull them off and finish welding them and do the gussets. So I'm going to do that now. Just wanted to give you guys a quick look before we actually pull them off, because in this episode, they won't be going back on. We need to paint them probably in the next episode, or I might even just do it in my spare time because it's kind of boring. I'll just give you one more little walk around, but that is the sliders complete. I love the kicker. Absolutely love the kicker. If you guys are going to order a kit or even order a pre-built one, I recommend the kicker because I think it looks bloody awesome. Right, so let's pull these off and I'll finish them off and then we can finish this video and then I can go and eat food because I'm friggin' starving. Oh, I can't stop looking at them. I don't want to pull it off. Look how good that looks. A locker and sliders have been holding me back from doing pretty hard tracks, and now we have a locker and now we have sliders, so I'm friggin' pumped about this. Got the sliders off and it's time to finish off the welding, so we just need to go around all the mounts that we've just done and around these brackets here on both sides. And DIY Customs supply this gusset here, so we can actually go through and we can gusset I can even gusset this straight one just like that. So I'm gonna quickly get to welding all this up. I'm gonna add these gussets in as well, and then we can pack up for the night. Righto guys, we are done with these sliders. The only thing left to do for me is to drill 2 holes in each side, but for tonight, we are bloody done, and these things have turned out insane. I'm so glad that I decided to go down the path of doing the DIY kit, just because investing in a pipe bender isn't really something I want to do just for a set of sliders and brush rails. Now, I had a thought before about the cost of these things. I reckon that instead of buying a set of sliders off a shelf somewhere, you could buy this and a secondhand welder. And the massive benefit to that is you'll learn to weld doing these. You could easily set up some scrap steel, practice for a couple of hours. Once you get the hang of it, you could nail a set of these. So I hope you guys like that design, because I am friggin' absolutely frothing it if you couldn't tell. A massive shout out to DIY Customs. If you guys do want to look at getting yourself a set of sliders, you can reach out to them through their website or through Facebook. Now I hope a lot of you guys are going to give this a crack. You definitely feel that self-achievement when it comes to building something even though you didn't fold it up yourself. So if you guys like this video, go down, hit the like button, really helps me out. Drop a comment too, I always like reading the comments. And that is going to be it for now guys. Thanks for watching. See you on the next episode. Bye.